We're back, folks, and I think it's fair to say we have some big business to handle, right? I think that's the best way to describe the show that's ahead of us, your weekly Dynamite review, and it was a monumental one, right? The arrival of Mercedes Monè, a world's title match, Riho in action, most importantly, of course, lots to get into, and I've your favorite WrestlePurists trio. I'm declaring that here. Sorry to my friends at Worldwide, but your favorite WrestlePurists trio in the house. Charlie of Great Britain and WrestlePurists, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling better than I was earlier because I woke up with a bit of a migraine. I was just like, oh, this is touch and go for the show tonight. But I had some food, took some painkillers, had a nap, ready to go. Very excited to talk about Dynamite because it was a really good episode. And the CEO, as our chat is very brightly pointing out, did arrive. And Mercedes is all elite. And I've been waiting for this for so long, as many of us have. So can't wait to get into it.
It's been a long road, right? I think you had to make the town for this one. It's just if we feel like it's going to be a good payday, folks, don't let us down on that front. Yes. You know, the like, the video, subscribe, but most importantly, this is big business. Come on, if ever there was a time, right? If ever there was a time for some super chats, today is the day. But Ayo, how are you this evening, mate?
I'm good. I just want to correct you for a second there. Many people are saying this. I would never say this, but many people are saying this. They say whenever Big AO touches the mic, it is indeed big business already. But however, since we're doing the Big Business Dynamite review, we can call this the bigger business review. I'm good, man. Long day, but you know, Dynamite was great last night. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time appeared in my favorite promotion going right now. So, you know, if it wasn't such a monumental occasion, might have skipped the town, bro. Might have not made it. I can't lie, but you gotta show face. You gotta show face for historical moments like this, man. It's Mercedes fucking Monè, man, the CEO of AEW. We here.
Absolutely. I mean, when Montgomery sells this WrestlePurists tape library one day to the folks at Amazon or whatever, you know, this is the episode they're going to go back to. They're going to say, what were they saying when this went down? You know, what was the word? So I appreciate you holding me accountable regarding big business. That is your trademark, to be fair.
It is.
I should do better. All right, folks. We start with the biggest business, right? The biggest business of all on this show. And I think that was kind of the belief going in. I guess I'll start with that as a question. Did you both expect the show to open with Mercedes? Was that both your expectation, or did it surprise you?
No, I expected it to open with Mercedes.
Yeah, okay.
Because they were chanting her name before it was like a whole like first dance feel. They're just like, you know how they did that. I was like, yeah. There was like, it was CEO chants, it was Mercedes chants. They came. A lot of people came there for one thing and one thing only. The boss, man, the CEO, Mercedes Monè.
Yeah. It felt like the right plan. I think it was the expected one. We had that little piece before it. Renee introduced the show, and that was a cool little hook, I guess. You knew it was coming anyway, but it kind of gave it a little extra punch. And then, of course, Mercedes Monè arrives to some new theme music. From what I have gathered, slightly polarizing theme music, but if nothing else, I think we can all agree it worked a treat on the live crowd, right?
Bro, like sorry, bro. Like with the Monè, I liked it. Personally, I liked it. But if you didn't like it, I understood. Right. I do not understand how anyone dislikes this song, bro. I love this fucking song, bro. I'm waiting for it to hit Apple Music so I could go to the gym and listen to it.
I think it has.
At work, nigga. I'm gonna go to sleep listening to it, bro. Like I'm gonna christen my first child to this song. All right, like, my future wife is gonna walk down the aisle to this song. So, like, if you dislike it, you're just wrong. You're wrong, bro. You're wrong.
Well, I'm glad you're taking a measured approach to tonight's I think it works as a wrestling theme. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as you with downloading it and its playlist and such. We'll see. See how it goes. But the people were with it. I can't argue with that, Chuck. You seem to like the theme.
Hold on, Joe. I got a question real fast.
I'm sorry.
Elon Musk still making these? Is Elon Musk still making these like microchips for the brain? It's just gonna like insert directly into your brain? Because if so, I need that song on that fucking microchip and put it right into my brain.
That's fair. I understand. It's certainly, I'll say this. I wasn't quite comfortable with how much my brain was repeating CEO today in my head. It was definitely, it managed to do that. Yeah, so Charlie, you seem to like the theme also, right?
I did like the theme. I liked the one that she was using for New Japan quite a bit. But for a theme on a national national TV every week, like a weekly TV programming, I think the new one suits it a little bit better, and it gets the crowd involved. I love themes like that. Like Ospreay's is a great example, and
Yeah.
couple of more the AEW use, but they don't have a whole lot of things that the crowd like can actively get up for and be involved in. So I think it was a good choice. I like it.
Yeah, the people would agree. They were rocking, and it's worth noting here at the top of the show. I think this is going to come up a lot throughout the review. One of the big X factors for this show, and I think one of the reasons people were so positive, was this felt big time, right? There was a buzz, there was an excitement, there's electricity. Obviously a bigger house than we've been used to on the Dynamite review as of late. And it was noticeable, and this segment obviously benefited from that tremendously because they were rocking. It had a real atmosphere. Mercedes, as always, nailed it in terms of presentation and came out looking like an absolute superstar, which is nothing new. Soaked in the atmosphere, got the microphone, and kind of did your general mission statement, right? Like you're kind of broad, I'm here now, here's what you can expect, so on and so forth. Nothing groundbreaking in terms of content, but I thought her delivery was very confident, very natural. And I thought it was a very, very encouraging start to what is going to be an incredibly important run in AEW. Chuck, what did you make of Mercedes promo and just kind of generally this whole package of an opening segment?
I think that it went pretty much as well as you could have hoped for it to go. Like they gave her the time, they let the moment breathe. Like it wasn't a case of like she's out there, then she's back. Like she was out there for like a good 15-20 minutes almost, and she wasn't talking the whole time. She was living in the moment and telling her story. And I don't know whether she wrote the promo, whether she was speaking from the heart or like whatever, but she nailed it. I think like the delivery, like what she was saying, like how she was saying things, like there was always going to be people that were looking for something to take out of context, and she didn't give them anything. Like she was very careful with it, and the crowd were fully behind her, as you'd expect with Boston anyways. But no, I thought it was a great moment. I really loved it, all of it, and she looked incredible, didn't she? Like just her gear and like everything about it was just very memorable moment for her and for the fans.
She always nails that and always has. I remember it being a talking point way back when, how kind of ahead of the curve she was with how she would do merchandising and stuff for the boss character. I'm talking like 2015, like she knew very quickly the marketability and the potential of that character. And I think it's carried through into this version of herself here as we've seen. And I agree on the promo. It did feel like she was very considered in terms of the content. We don't know how it was put together, but it definitely felt like a lot of thought went into it. What did you make of Mercedes' opening promo?
I loved it. I loved the whole thing. I knew she was gonna go out there and promo for fucking 15 minutes. I didn't expect it to. I don't think anybody would want her to anyway. Her like the whole opening thing, her pulling up in the S-Class AMG, taking 5 minutes to walk out there, just like taking in the feeling. Like if anybody watched her debut with New Japan, like like the entrance was gonna be part of the show. Like that was like 90% of what she did when she came to Wrestle Kingdom 2 years ago was the entrance. And she hit Kyrie with her new finisher that Kyrie botched. I'm not gonna get spiteful about it though. And then she had like a 3-second promo. She was like, I'm the CEO, I'm here. And so I was expecting a lot of the same. I really enjoyed the promo. I think she knocked it out of the park. I think people remember her as one of her better promos. I think some people just unfairly get called weaker on the mic just because they don't have a lot of standout moments, or because like they had one or two instances like before Roman Reigns became the tribal chief or whatever. Like he was just fine to me on the mic. I didn't think he was a shitter, but then he had like the suffering succotash moment. So that he was the suffering succotash guy. Everybody always made fun of him and shit. It was just like, oh, Roman's promos. When it was never really one extreme or the other. And I feel like her promos were really never one extreme or the other. But it was like the biggest quote unquote weakness in her game. Like she's one of the best wrestlers to ever exist, in my opinion, male or female. So people aren't going to really talk about that. They're going to find whatever type of weakness. But I enjoyed the content. It was cookie cutter sounds like an insult at times, but I don't mean it as an insult. It was really a submission statement. I'm here. I'm here to like bring up the division. I'm here to win championships. I'm here to set my career. I'm here. I want to thank the fans. All that shit, but it came off great.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point about kind of people overstating the promo part of her game, her presence is such that that's always been overstated, right? Has such great physical presence. Anytime she's in front of a crowd, whether it be some of the crowds she worked for New Japan, which were smaller buildings that she'd help those things, but they were still smaller buildings.
Mhm.
She always kind of shines through the screen. I think that was clearly the case last night. All right, Aaron, it appears we have our first round of super chats. You may take it away.
Please keep them coming in. Anjan, thank you for the $2 super chat. Oh my God, it's Charlie. It's Joe, Charlie, and AO of Great Britain. Hashtag Mana, hashtag Brug. 3 shots of Terramana, man. 3 shots of Terramana.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, fucking brother. It's a Jizzle with the $5 super chat. Thank you for the $5, Jizzle. Really think AEW needs to start thinking about how to retain Mercedes fans through the show.
Yes.
I would have weaved her in and out of the show more. I would have had her promise that she was sticking around tonight. To me, it was kind of obvious with the women being the main event that she would have something to say with that, especially after she said Willow's name. But with wrestling fans, you kind of gotta beat these things into their head. So I don't disagree necessarily.
I hope you had fun at the show, Jizzle.
We appreciate
it. Yes, absolutely.
No problem. Mercedes debut, Wardlow out of the title scene. Spiteful but true. Okada already shining on weekly television. Mina recruiting. Big business all over the shop. Love it. I agree with everything here. Seeing those tweets about Mina debuting at Ring of Honor last night was cool as hell. Her trauma was amazing. I saw a video of her hitting her Club Venus dance, bro. She was dancing like she would never dance again, bro. She was fucking that shit up, bro. I loved it.
Yeah. It was, I will say, I don't mean this spitefully, but I have to say, because it was funny. It was like, I saw Mina is at AEW, and it's like this huge pop, and it's like, she is wrestling. Well,
It
is what it is. Anna's been better as of late, genuinely, but it was still funny.
The thing is, I know it's a tape show, so I don't know how far along they are in it, but a lot of the workhorse type of girls that are in Ring of Honor are still doing the TV title tournament and stuff.
I think it's the quarterfinals this week. I think that's what Tony was tweeting about earlier.
I believe you're right. Yeah. From what I can see, the bracket is coming down to some strong talent in that tournament. I'm going to try and check it out. Yeah. It's hard because there's so much wrestling. I'm going to try and check out some Ring of Honor, I think, when we get to kind of semifinals and such.
I've been tuning in for the Queen Aminata matches. I've enjoyed her run.
Yeah.
She's a star, man. I mean, it's obvious, but her and Mercedes is like saying you want to circle, right? That feels like big business, so to speak.
I'm assuming this ends at. I don't think it's been announced yet, but I'm assuming this ends at Supercard of Honor. So for her to get a spot like that in a title match, there would be dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah. Looking at when Supercard of Honor is.
Yep.
Mustafa Sadiq, £2 super chat. We appreciate you. Max got to grab that tag rope. Billy and Swerve time. When you say tag rope, are we talking about like the tag rope in Honor Club? Because I think the Kingdom have some. They have some unfinished business with Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Do they not? Because he's not wrestling my ghosts anytime soon, bro. Like the Bucks have plans for the tag team titles. Max, we don't need you anywhere near there, bro. I'm sorry.
There you go, folks. There's your Supercard main event, I guess, based on what I'm hearing here. We'll see.
Frank, $2 super chat. CEO repeats in head for 7 hours. Bro, I've been saying that. I was saying it all night last night after the show. I was saying it all night during the show after I heard the song. I was saying it all today, bro. That song's an earworm, bro. That song's an earworm.
Yeah. It was a great moment when she got in the ring. They took a great shot of like the scene, just the building, and the chants were loud. Damn, weren't they? My goodness, it was fun in there. Very, very cool. Absolutely.
Phantom FTW, £5 super chat. We appreciate you, bro. TK's done more with Mercedes in one night than Paul People Like You Levesque has done with Jade in 6 months. Crazy. Many people are saying this, brother. Many people are saying this. Look, man.
They might be. I don't know.
Look, man. I don't know. Maybe backstage segments is cool to y'all. Maybe they're cool to y'all. But
I'm still rattled by Paul people like there because absolutely rattled me. I'm stunned by it.
I used to have a gimmick that every time I criticized Triple H, I would do it posting a picture of him in blackface. So it's just like, bro, if you're about to defend this man, just know, I just want you to look at who you're about to defend right now. Like when I fly over to good old Great Britain, I hang out with Joe and he puts on his blackface. He has the common courtesy not to do this on national television. He has a common courtesy not to take pictures and put them on Facebook or whatever. Yeah, it's just two guys hanging out. You feel me? But the arrogance in Paul, people like you, Levesque, just trotting up and down on TV in blackface on multiple occasions. I'll have you. Like, it's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting.
I shouldn't even explore this joke any further, but the idea that I do this, like, it's like some sort of party trick I do when you come over is even... It's not just that I do it, it's like this thing I do when you come over, like it's some sort of... Anyway, incredible stuff.
AO's flying into town.
Yeah, let me get ready.
I ran out of makeup. Let me run down to Sephora.
Folks, we appreciate the super chats and please do keep them coming. Like, subscribe, all of those good things. Speaking of good things, the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe was up next with an interview. Thumbs up on like just immediately doing the Monè line and having like a whole pun about it in his promo. It's a small thing, but it's like it keeps that idea at the center of your brain, right? Like Mercedes is here. It was a nice touch. Good promo. He said he doesn't lose championships at the Garden, which the people liked. Then, in what admittedly was a little bit of a sort of a smash cut, tonal shift, we went to this Wardlow. It wasn't even really a Wardlow vignette. It was like an Adam Cole vignette about Wardlow.
that was
interesting.
That was strange.
It's a throwback to what he used to does, but it just doesn't fit his current character because he's done nothing to establish the fact that he's like this shit-eating heel because he's been in a wheelchair. Like, do you use this like in 6 months when he's like the top of his game again? Sure, it will work then, but it was very jarring to see something that he used to do like back in Ring of Honor, I think, like on AEW TV with like no like real pretense to it. It was just a story time with Adam Cole. It's like, well, we could have waited to do this.
The only issue is I think this may have been our fault because we've been talking about how we don't want Cole to be out there in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, okay, it's my fault. I'm pretty sure I was the one who said like he should do cinematic promos. And this came on the show and I said, well, they can't all be winners, you know what I mean?
I honestly don't even have a strong opinion on it even way. I just thought it was like weird. Like you said, it was a weird like tonal like jump from the Mercedes and then Joe and then here's the cinematic thing real fast. Like I don't know. Yeah,
because Joe's promo was like placement I think was important because Joe's promo was like old school pro wrestling, right? Like it was just down the camera interviews. So, but nonetheless, they set the stage. They're both champion challenger, kind of have their story laid out, which I think is always worth doing. And we went straight into it, right? Champ was out first. AEW World Title, Samoa Joe and Wardlow, their third match, which is a hilarious stat. Right. But I have to say, I thought this was their best match, which
it was.
Make it that we were, but I thought they had a good match here, and I thought the lads put in a good shift. They were definitely helped by a very enthusiastic Boston crowd that was with it. They were with Joe, and I think him being the kind of in-ring babyface for one night worked here. I like this match. What did you make of this?
So, I'm not exactly jumping at the opportunity to watch Michael Wardlow wrestle, regardless of the other circumstances. But like, Mercedes just debuted, man. Like I was still living in that moment, so it was really hard for me to focus on anything that was going on, especially with like Wardlow versus Joe at 3. Like, who asked for this, bro? Love you, Joe, but who asked for this match a third time? But yeah, I rewatched it today. It wasn't a bad match, bro. It was pretty enjoyable. Like I think it was worked really smartly. I think maybe Wardlow's coming along here, Joe. You think maybe Wardlow's coming along about being tricked?
I think he's a talented guy. He just because he can do some cool things, right? Genuinely, like bits aside. And I think when you give him a smart wrestler like Joe who can put his stuff in the right place, it works. The one thing I would say as a criticism of Wardlow here, and it's not a big one because I thought he did a good job. He still is very much adjusting to wrestling like a heel. It feels, like at times. he would do something that was very babyface, and then he would do a heel gesture to get the heat back. That's the only criticism but I did think he did a good job here. It's more, I guess the conversation with Wardlow is less, is he getting better, and is more, does he need to be a top guy on this roster? Right? It's like, I think we're in a situation where it's less a reflection of Wardlow and more a reflection of look at the talent around him. That's where I'm at, personally.
Because when they started this whole Wardlow project, and I was with them when they started this project, like I was into it, bro. Like the match shoot and all that. But even before that, like I was like Joe, not Joe. I'm sorry, JR would be like, "Oh my god, look at this man. You could build a promotion around this guy." And I was never with him to that extent. But I was like, yeah, this is like upper mid card guy, bro. Like Wardlow rocks, bro. Like he did a Hurricane Rana during a shoot fight, bro. I popped huge for that. And then I was just like, I don't know. He's like tumbled down the card, and I feel like TK feels like he owes it to him to try to like keep that feeling that like Wardlow's like maybe not a main eventer with the roster we have now, but like a serious somebody on the roster. I don't think that's even the case anymore, bro. Like I would see what we got in Big Bill, honestly, giving him the type of chances that Wardlow's got. But yeah, it's like he's responsible for this. TK's responsible because he wasn't booked perfectly either. And then also just like the people the horses that we have now, like it's not 2019 anymore. It's not 2020 anymore. Jake Hager's not getting singles matches on pay-per-views anymore, bro. Like we've moved past all of that.
Yeah, and I will say I saw a lot of talk about Wardlow's booking after this match, and like there have been many times to critique that. If he can't take a clean loss, like if he can't take a clean loss to Samoa Joe at this point, then like it is what it is, right? Like I think if anything, I thought this was a positive night for him for the reasons we kind of laid out previously. But speaking of such, I'm glad it was just a clean finish, right? I don't think any of us needed 10 run-ins and so on and so forth.
Bro,
Charlie, what did you?
I'm sorry, but if we protect Wardlow here, then protecting him for what? For like what down the line? There's not going to be Joe versus Wardlow 4. Yeah. Like just let it be a clean finish. Now this is done. We're past this. Go ahead.
Yeah, the goal of this ultimately is when Joe puts the choke on Swerve in a month, you want the people to absolutely be terrified. This is it, right? That's it. Like that's the goal. Yeah. If Wardlow is immune to that, then why would they view it as a threat? So that's really the thought process we've given him these defenses, I think. Charlie, what did you make of the world's title match?
I actually thought it was pretty decent. I was a little bit worried about this match because I was worried about the fact they were going to do like 17 run-ins and all that sort of bullshit, but they didn't. It was a little bit jarring seeing Wardlow do some of the heel tactics that he was using, like using like the eye poke and that, and it's like. Yeah. That's what like the guys that you're a heater for do. Why are you doing this? And then doing a swanton, like I don't know, it was a bit jarring in places. And I think to the thing of him like adjusting to wrestling as a heel, you can see that he's working through a knee injury at this moment at the same time. So it's a bit of a weird combo, like him changing up his moveset and having to like work around that as well. But I think he did a pretty good job. The crowd definitely was very helpful for this match. And him doing the shoulder barge thing he did when Joe tried to do the walk away spot was pretty beast. Like that was a pretty cool way to do that.
Yeah, there was some cool spots in there. Yeah, it also should be noted there was a moment of a little bit of a scary moment when they kind of their heads collided on that spot, and that was a little bit spooky because those situations when you got big guys, especially anything can happen in those situations. So they battled through it. There was a very funny moment down the stretch as somehow Wardlow convinced Joe to take that hilarious knee that he throws that he's like killed people with, and the absolute effort that this took from both men. Joe took this thing on like he's like belly button, I think. Like he was not getting hit in the face by this knee. No, absolutely not. But it was a nice false finish. So yeah, they had a pretty good match. And post match, the aforementioned Swerve Strickland came out and fought off security. Joe bowed. There was a great comedic moment before Joe left where he kicked one of the security guards off the ramp, which was nice. And yeah, I mean, it's been clear, right? We talked about it last week. It's clear they're going to Dynasty, Joe and Swerve. And I think, we've got time, right? We've got a whole other month and change. So this build, I'm very optimistic about it. I think we all are, right? Joe and Swerve. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Should be good.
I think they should have given Swerve like at least 30 seconds of promo time here because the crowd was hot.
Yeah.
Like they could have done, they could
Yeah.
have had a really cool moment here. But I get if they don't want to like officially announce the match yet, you've got to be careful with when you give promo time and that sort of thing in the build. But I don't know, it feels like a little bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I was thinking about this same thing actually because I kind of had that. You just kind of had like a mini argument with yourself about that, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
they should do this, but I understand why they didn't. I went through the same thought process. They've got a month, so I get it.
The month, so it's like you don't want him to burn anything right now that could be used for another week that he might not be wrestling that week to help build to this pay-per-view. But fuck, bro, if you tuned in to watch Mercedes Moné, right? If you tuned in to watch Mercedes Moné and you're like, you know what? I want to be an AEW fan now. This seems awesome. You see the Swerve's coming out. He's clearly getting crowned next at Dynasty. Like, I feel like you would want him to do more than just chase Joe off. But, you know, there's a lot of factors going into it.
And it has to be said, we've had a couple signs of this now. When Swerve and Joe are opposite each other, the people are happy to pick Swerve. And that's a big deal, right? Because the people love Samoa Joe. I mean, he was literally the babyface in this match. They were happy to cheer Joe. When Swerve came out, you know, it was in his direction. So, so that's really promising because, look, I'm optimistic about this build and match, but I don't think any of us expect Joe and Swerve to have like a Matt Classic necessarily. It's going to need the atmosphere. It's going to need big fight feel. So, exciting times. I think that's clearly the Dynasty direction. All right. The Elite up next. Matthew and Nicholas, along with their friend, the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. My good God. I was like Alec Marvez then. That was very unfortunate. I apologize, folks. But anyway, it was Matthew's birthday, and Okada is. I liked this idea immediately.
Yeah.
Seeing this in execution is very, very exciting. He forced Marvez to sing "Happy Birthday, Matthew." He had this kind of smug grin on his face. It was this was good times. This seemed like something that would pop you very much.
I love this segment. Like, who knew Kazuchika Okada could be such a good television character, bro? Like, he was, like, he wasn't just like, oh, this is kind of funny. Like, you know, he's trying his best at English. You know, you have to show Okada grace. He's one of the GOATs, but he's trying something new. And no, this was genuinely like good wrestling TV content. I really enjoyed it. Like his cadence, his comedic timing. It was perfect today. Him being like this, just shit eating like exec Jason, like you can't touch me. I'm the new hottest thing in the fucking promotion. Look at my friends, bro. They fucking run the place. This stuff is great.
Yeah, and I love that it's like completely contrasting with what Ospreay's doing. You know,
right?
Like Ospreay's doing the like super wrestler that's joined the promotion. Everyone's excited about, it. And Okada immediately is a heel where the announcers are like, "Look at this piece of shit," you know, like it's perfect. Awesome. Yeah, and I just think he's more compelling that way. Charlie, this felt like something that you also would very, very much enjoy.
Yes, it was so funny. And I think it's so impressive how good of comedic timing Okada has in his second language. Yeah. Like obviously he's not like a native English speaker. So the fact that he can do something like that, like on national TV with so much ease is really impressive to me. And I hope that doesn't come across as condescending because that's not what I'm trying to do or anything. Right.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's really settled into this role perfectly. And this segment was so fucking funny. And it's working, man. And I think it's gonna keep working if they keep like doing like these sort of segments to like build to their matches and stuff, because if they're not overstaying their welcome and they're doing like they're just having fun. And I think that's been a big part of something that's been missing for like the Bucks, especially over the last like before this run started. Like they were really missing like the aspect of fun from their work, and it's given them new life, honestly. So I'm very happy with what's going on with them.
It's been transformative. Like every week, friends of mine who are not Young Bucks fans necessarily are like, I'm into the Elite again. Like it happens every single week. It's been a huge shift. And I think Okada is kind of the icing in that regard. And your point isn't condescending at all, right? Like, these are the things we wondered about with Okada. How does this part of it look? We all knew how the matches would look. But and I think they've found a role here where he's so natural. It's like, it's absolutely perfect. So, yeah, a very good start. And that went straight into their match with Eddie Kingston, Pac, and Penta. The one thing I would circle here before friend to you guys is like every time Pac comes back, he just is like immediately the exact same he was. You never see Pac and like, man, he looks a little rusty out there. He's immediately back in the game at the same pace he was at previously. Machine. Yeah, he really is a machine. But this is a good time. Had some kind of flashes of party match at moments and really fun little trios match here. AO, what did you make of the match?
It was really enjoyable. Okada was able to get like more of his character over it, just like the fucking this like shit eating fucking grin, bro. Like him that baby now the fucking the tag cut off, the hot tag cut off that he did, where he ripped the dude off the fucking apron, went up there, fucking put his hand out. Like that was hilarious, bro. That was hilarious. The work was good here. The Bucks have really switched up their style in a way that we've never seen before. Even when they were like when they were heels, they would hit all their fucking moves. Like they would, no matter if they had 30 minutes or 10 minutes, they might do everything. And then they would just like tell the crowd to fuck off. And the crowd would play along. They'd be like, oh, they boom out the fucking building, right? But now they're just like bumping and feeding all over the place for people, like running to Okada to save them and shit. Like just kicking people on the fucking nuts. Like it's awesome, bro. I love everything about the new elite. It was great to see Pac back. Like he doesn't fucking miss a step. Penta is fucking Penta. And the Eddie and Okada exchanges, they had some like flashes of brilliance there. I can't wait to the match next week.
Yeah, Eddie's an inspired choice for Okada, right? That just feels exciting. And to your point about the Bucks, their versatility has always been underrated. But you're right, like this is the most extreme shift they've made in that regard. And it's really good against a babyface like Eddie, especially. Right? The people really like that dynamic. And that was always the case. But yeah, good stuff here for sure, Chuck. What did you make of it?
I had so much fun with this match, and I'm so glad to see Pac back, like, in a prominent position. And he hasn't missed a step, really. Like, I thought, like, because he made reference to the fact that he, like, almost popped his clogs, which, like, a lot of people have taken that he had, like, serious health issues in that. Like, I thought there was going to be, like, a little bit of ring rust, but he just keeps coming back as a machine. It's crazy. Like, the only noticeable thing is that he's, like, a bit smaller than he was, like, illness or whatever, but I don't know, I'm really happy for him to be involved in this feud. He's a great character to like put up against someone like Okada, because Okada's just such a dickhead and he just keeps like looking over the top of him because Pac's like, sure, it's such a good dynamic. The Bucks were great in this match as well. They bump and feed anyways, but they've been like really upped their game in that, and like they were feeding for Eddie like mad, like him just throwing them around. And I don't know, I had a lot of fun with this. The only like thing that I didn't like is that Alex Abrahantes was still down there, but you win some, you lose some. Like you can't.
Yeah, you might need to start a petition about that. You might need to start some sort of movement on it. As what
did you guys make of the finish? Because I was kind of surprised that Okada pinned Eddie, and then I was just like, well, we've got 5 weeks till Dynasty, and then they hit us with a match graphic.
Yeah, that was interesting. This actually just transitioned straight into that. I think that's a worthwhile talking point. Not only are they doing Okada and Eddie next week, but specifically they're doing it for the Continental belt, right? And like Excalibur actually said one of the belt, like he actually made a point of saying it rather than it being kind of up for debate. Okada's winning that belt, right? Like that's what's happening.
I think so.
There's no way he fucking loses.
There's no way. Did they do a DQ? Like they very seldom do them, but I guess it's possible, right? I don't know.
I'm assuming he wins the belt and the program goes on. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Eddie puts up the other 2 belts at Dynasty. That'd be strange though, right?
I'm wondering if the reason he's not winning the 3 belts is because there's like, it's probably a little weird, I'd imagine, with the New Japan politics. Like I'd imagine he's not rushing to work New Japan strong shows necessarily. And that's what that belt was supposed to, in theory, I guess, right? Eddie's still got one of those belts. He's got the strong belt. So Chuck, what do you think that's the case? Do you think this is just like he's going to take that belt and Eddie's going to have the other 2 less important kind of ones? I think
so. It's a real weird dynamic that they've got going on here, because I didn't even think about that with the Triple Crown. Like when they first like started when they started this feud, when Okada first came in. I think he's winning the Continental belt, and maybe they'll reunite them at some point and be like, haha, it's still a Triple Crown. It's like, okay. I don't know what they're doing, man.
Yeah,
Unless they want the Continental belt to just be a world title, and that's why they're separating them.
I guess. Yeah.
So Supercard of Honor is in 3 weeks, and then Dynasty's
Yes.
in like 2 or 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just really want, because Eddie wasn't on the last ROH show, right? It was just
He was on
was,
it,
but it
they
was-
Oh
added
yeah,
him.
but then he had like that Proving
Yeah.
Grounds match or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
added at the last minute. Like literally,
Yeah.
he was so yeah. I mean, and if Sheeta and Athena is the Ring of Honor match, apologies if I spoiled that for anyone out there, but I mean, we're literally head to head with the Ring of Honor show. You get what you
Right.
get, right? I mean, it is
Yes.
what it is. But if that is the match, that would be a main event, I assume, for Supercard,
Mhm.
right? I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. The timing of next week does make me kind of wonder if there's like some sort of weird finish coming up, I must admit. But
Yeah.
Okada may just win. Is it fair to say that? I mean, I don't want to be like a detective base, but I'm not totally sure they thought the Triple Crown thing through beyond just like
Absolutely
Eddie.
fucking not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
They just wanted to have the picture of Eddie with the 3 belts, which fair. I get
Yes.
it, but
They could have done that and the promotion like not acknowledge it, and Eddie just be like, I made my Triple Crown, you bastards. Like, look what I did. I have 3 belts.
Right.
I'm Triple Crown champion. But TK was promoting it that way. The announcers, they called it the Triple Crown Championship on TV and stuff. So it's like you assume that all of these belts are on the line when you fight for the Continental Classic Championship, bro. I don't know.
Mhm.
Eddie
Yeah.
should have never put his belts up in hindsight, bro. Like, he should have just had his 2 belts and been like, I want to win the Continental Classic. But
yeah, I tend to agree. It was, you get what you get, right? I mean, I think this is going to be one of those kind of trivia questions at some point, but nonetheless,
Mhm.
it appears Okada is going to be having the Continental belt sooner than later. So we'll kind of see what shape that takes, if indeed he gets it. When does the tag title tournament start? This weekend? Is it Collision on Saturday? I
supposed
think?
I'm told Rampage.
Yeah. Because last week they said it would be starting this week. Obviously, it didn't start on Big
Yeah.
Business, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
bracket-
complaining about this on the watch along.
Fair.
Is
Okay.
the entire Collision card announced? No, right? Just the Kyle
No, just
match. Kyle Brian
BK.
Keith.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
That bracket is definitely still being crafted, brother.
Bro,
know it,
what?
I'm scared. I'm terrified.
How hard is just drop a fucking bracket, bro? Just drop it, bro.
He's
That's
always
so weird about it. It's
he
so
always
odd.
is.
Like, dude, like, why wouldn't you announce, like, unless they're just not doing any of the tag matches on Dynamite, which is, like, fair, maybe don't announce it on Dynamite then, but tell me you're announcing it on Rampage. I don't tune into Rampage all that often, like.
They drop brackets in Ring of Honor. That's how you know TK has nothing to do with that fucking show.
Got ahead of it. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm very
Oh.
hopeful the tournament will be great, but that is always a funny kind of part of the process with AEW. But nonetheless, it appears we have a couple super chats, mate. Take it away.
Yo. Let's see. Collider Clint, £5 super chat. Mercedes and AEW can change the landscape for women's wrestling. Too much style or substance for me, to be honest. Willow should be their Cena NXT Bailey star. I agree on all points.
I co-sign, yeah.
Friend of the brand,
I
High
agree,
End.
Bailey,
She's a well-regarded women's wrestler out of Houston, Texas. She's been on Honor Club. She fought Juliet at a recent Strong pay-per-view. She tweeted like 2 weeks ago. She's like, women's wrestling, they kind of get coddled a little bit too much over there, and it's to their detriment because things that are passed off as good or acceptable in women's wrestling is they wouldn't if they were men. It was her theory. I think you put all these like high-end work rate girls in a company, you just let them fight. Like something like people joke about Athena versus Willow changing TK's brain chemistry, and that's when he decided to take women's wrestling serious. And just imagine what fucking Athena versus Mercedes will do to him, right? Like that's the type of match that little girls are gonna watch and be like, I want to become a professional wrestler. That's the type of match that women training are gonna be like, I gotta go harder. It's the type of match that maybe sexist men will watch and be like, no, women are capable of everything men are doing and more. And they'll just raise the bar for divisions in general all over the world.
Absolutely.
Anjan, $2 super chat. Who's more English, Paxi SJ, Billy, Monty, Regal?
That's a really good question. We could do a
That's
whole
a
list. Here.
hilarious question.
I feel like
It depends what
Regal.
brand of English.
Regal is the most stereotypical British.
Yes.
Well, they're different stereotypes.
Yeah,
though,
they're
right?
different
Like,
Yeah.
because then other people would say that Ospreay is the most stereotypical British too.
Zach,
But Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
is
But
very.
he has like the his type of humor, right? Like that's the.
damn, these
he's
are all.
the people's representation. Like, we all see ourselves a little bit as Zack Sabre Jr.
When it comes to being really English, these are all just studs, right? Just incredible.
Like,
incredible.
absolutely incredible.
I don't know
Monty's-
anybody from PAX region, so I don't know how they are supposed to.
Oh,
act.
he's
Or, like,
he's very on
he's
brand.
but it was just like
Yes.
he was like, this is the most Gordy to ever exist. And I was like, yeah.
And the thing with Montgomery is his personality is so aggressively British, right? Or English more
Yes.
specifically. Just miserable, right? Really on brand. Really nails it in that regard. So, I mean, it's like splitting the Horsemen. Eh? What do we do with this, bro? I mean, they're all killers.
Do we go the coward's way out and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Just call it a 5-way tie?
I'm gonna nominate because he's the original among this crew. I think we can. I'm gonna give Regal the 1 seed.
Yeah, when I
think-
read this list, like Regal sticks out the most to me.
Yeah, Regal and
I think it's got to be Zack because the amount he complains about the government, which is just very real.
I'm with Zack at 2. Then we'll take Bill at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Pack 4, and Montgomery can.
I learned a lot about what's going on in the English Parliament just watching Zack Sabre Jr. matches, and he just starts yelling at the cameraman about what the fuck y'all got going on over
Pay
there.
the nurses,
Oh, wow, that's
Rishi
interesting.
Sunak, feed the kids.
It is very
It's like
best.
the BBC.
Dude, he did it at the Tokyo Dome. That was like a genuinely great moment. Yeah.
And they always go viral as well. And it's people are just like, who is this man in tights shouting about the British government? It's incredible. Anyways, continue. Sorry, Ayo.
No problem. Hush, $2 super chat. Will TK get rid of Caster and Jericho? 0 mana. I don't know what Caster's got going on right now,
it's
bro.
It's very weird.
It's very strange. He's a babyface on TV, but then he logs onto Twitter and just like, oh my god, I'm working the marks. Look at me work the marks. Look at how mad the marks are. It's like, bro, you're a fucking babyface. And then it's like she's just being a fucking edgelord. He's posting old pictures of Sammy yesterday because he's got that whole past with Mercedes Moné, which is very weird. I felt bad for Sammy in that instance because whatever you think about him, bro, like it's an old picture. I'm sure he didn't be like, Max, it would be so funny if you posted that. Just so you could get fucking shit on all day. So I don't know. If Caster keeps going this route, maybe he catches another suspension. It would be his 3rd. There's 0 chance Jericho goes anywhere, unfortunately.
I agree, but I will say it does feel like he's. I don't want to. I mean, this is the sort of thing that I could speak too soon and curse everything, but it feels like his power has fallen some to me personally. Yeah. Now again, obviously he's still in the game and he's doing this thing with Hook, but it doesn't. It feels different to me than it did previously. Look, I'm sure Tony has. I understand Tony has a lot of loyalty to Chris because Jericho was one of the first big names that was willing to do it, right? So I get it. But, yeah, but I do think it's changing slowly but surely. I think.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, bro, just putting him on TV every week for 15 minutes, it's not best for business right now. It's just not.
It's not, and we'll get there, but it was a noticeable energy dip in this show. Yeah. So we'll get there.
I think we have to put up with it until he does this CMLL date that they seem to be teasing. And if that is what it is, I can put up with it till then. Has it? I don't know. I feel like that's what they're at least building to. Maybe have we spoiled something? Maybe we've spoiled something. Anyway,
we spoiled something. Oh, sorry, it hasn't been announced. BCC in Arena Mexico coming soon. Bro, $5 super chat. I got Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes.
Oh no, that match has been announced.
Okay. I was gonna say. And I'm supposed to care about TV ratings. Oh, bro. Like I saw a bunch of like sarcastic tweets yesterday. They're like, "Wow, what a fucking show! Can't wait for the ratings to come out tomorrow so I could tell whether I liked it or not." It's like, bro, I don't give a fuck anymore. Cable's dead. It's WrestleMania season. They're doing 1.5s, 1.6s, bro. Which were on Raw, which were considered fucking DEFCON 5 a couple years ago, head to head with Monday Night Football. Bro, people would call me an AEW super fan. I've never once contributed to their TV ratings, bro. I don't have fucking cable, and when I do have, or my apartment complex does have cable, I don't set it up. Like I have streaming services, bro. I watch it on my laptop and connect it to my TV. It just is what it is.
Absolutely. I can't believe you guys went full Hulbert there with that scoop situation. That was incredible. Never go full Hulbert, ever.
There was no scoop involved. I just feel like they're building to a Jericho match. But the BCC match has been announced.
Yes.
That's public information.
We're okay, folks. Nothing was said here that shouldn't have been. It was just the wires were crossed.
We're everything's okay. Doing our thing.
Absolutely. Something like that, yeah. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are certainly doing their thing. They had their little vignette here prior to next week's I Quit match, which I must admit I'm very excited about. I think that could be actually pretty damn special, especially in Toronto. We all think Cope's getting the belt, right? We all locking it in? Or
yes, I'm locking that in. I'm locking that in.
Been locked in.
Yeah. I'm very optimistic, and we'll see. Kind of intrigued what Christian Cage does post TNT title reign. You know, like I could see him cycling away for a moment, but in terms of feuds, like, it's been his identity for so long, right? So it'll be interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, up next, I thought this was a real hit on the show.
Real quick before we move on from this, I asked this question on the watch along last night. Do you open or close with this match? Because I get the argument of closing with it, but it feels like they need to give it the time to breathe. And I think opening with it might be the better idea.
I don't know. That's a good question. They're going to have very different matches, this match and the Eddie Okada match, right? I mean, Eddie and Okada are going to have a conventional, somewhat world title match, basically, is the way they're going to wrestle it, I think. This match is going to be very theatrical, I'm pretty sure. There's going to be some insane visuals, I think, in this.
Yeah.
I would probably close with this only because I think closing with Copeland as the new champ in Toronto is a good look. You know, that's a good vibe. Yeah. But I do get your point 100%. That, you know, Copeland's not generally known for brevity, and this is an I Quit match with his best friend. This is probably going to be pretty long, so I get your point. I'd probably close with it.
I would close with this, and I would just book a segment in there that you could cut as much time as possible out of. So, like, possibly right before the I Quit match. So, like, maybe you could just scrap the whole fucking segment if you want to and run a vignette that you already canned. So, because they're gonna do, like, he's gonna raise the belt. They're gonna drop streamers and all that, bro. Like, you have to put that in the show.
I'm intrigued how soon after that Garcia targets Copeland. You know, we've discussed this previously. Like, I'm intrigued by. Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, them doing a babyface match is really interesting. Like, how the crowd reacts to that, it'll be interesting. We'll see, folks. I'm excited by this TNT title business.
You guys not bothered by DG losing another title match that quickly, or you think it's just like?
Well, that's the thing.
I think that he could win at Dynasty. I think that Copeland.
Really? Oh wow.
I think he's just a vehicle to get the belt there. He's going to do like a couple of Cope Opens on Dynamites and Collision between now and Dynasty. And then he's going to drop the belt to Danny. I feel like that's the way they're going to approach this. And if they don't, they're dumb, because that's what they should do.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Garcia thing being put off to Double on, I think, so he can win it there. But it definitely is a point with Garcia where, like, there needs to be a belt like ahead of him here pretty damn soon, right? I think we're getting to that point. Whatever that may be, because there's a million belts at this point. So,
I'll tell you which one it actually should fucking not be, bro. The Ring Around the Pure Championship. Yeah. Keep that thing away from wrestlers that I love, please, bro.
Yeah, we agree on that, absolutely. But yeah, I think, like, I was always, before Eddie beat Dragon, I always liked the idea of Brian beats Eddie, and that's the one that Garcia gets, you know, from Danielson, because that story, there's still something to tell with that story, right? The last time they wrestled on Rampage, they had a killer match, but it felt like it wasn't the finish. So there's a few different directions they could go with Garcia. Hopefully we get a better idea soon. Speaking of Brian Danielson, his upcoming pay-per-view opponent was in the ring next for a live promo, and I thought this was like one of the highs on a show that was filled with them. Will Ospreay in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone. Now, Will Ospreay promos generally are, I find, a different experience for myself and my British friends as everyone else because he is very, very British. So much so that sometimes it's a little much for British people. It's a little much. He because he puts it, he ramps it up a little bit, Charlie, fair to say, right? He ramps up a little bit on TV.
And especially now that he can't swear, he's ramped it up even more.
He has, but I thought this was like an actual great wrestling
I
promo.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
I really liked it. And the biggest thing is, dude, his energy is like, I forgot how powerful it can be when a babyface just has energy and is excited to be there and talks to the people. I thought this was like the best promo Will's done because it wasn't trying too hard. I mean, the touch of it, but more of it was just, he sold the match to me. It gave it this big time feel. I thought he did a hell of a job with this. Chuck, what did you make of the Ospreay and Ring interview?
Well, outside of just finding Ospreay incredibly funny on the mic because of how much it's so endearing to my American friends. I'm just like, well, I can't laugh at it now. You're gonna make me feel bad. But no, I thought that he did a really great job of this. And the restore the feeling line, like I thought that was a smart play into things that have happened in the company whilst he wasn't there, but he's made it clear that he's still been keeping up with it, like with his new workplace. I thought that was a pretty smart line. But he really sold this match with Brian at the pay-per-view. And I think them announcing this, like this being the first match announced, was very smart of them. And I'm interested to see how they keep up this level of excitement in the build. Because the match is going to have loads of goodwill anyways, because it's Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. It's like, as he said, it's like the best of the decade versus the greatest wrestler of all time, or whatever it was. But I think that there's going to be a whole lot of them just kind of chatting to each other after matches, and I'm interested to see how they build this. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Absolutely, I'm a fan of these kind of just straightforward, direct builds, right? Like, who's the better wrestler at the end of the day? That's what it comes down to. I think there's always room for that. I think that's Ospreay's strength. And I think that showed here with this promo. I thought he framed this very, very nicely. What did you make of it?
I loved it. I could see how him being like stereotypically like British could annoy some of y'all. But when Stan Hansen was fucking saying darn tootin' and yeehaw, Joe was popping huge, bro. So I don't want to hear it. No, Will Ospreay has like quickly found a way to make himself like an infectious TV character that you want to cheer for. Like even taking away his like superhuman ability in ring, like the way that he carries himself when he fucking came back to AEW on his first day on the roster, he literally skipped down the ramp because of how happy he was to be there, bro. And like AEW fans, like there's even like a hint of dissension from someone on the roster. He's like, oh my god, get that motherfucker out of my face. He disgusts me. And so it's just like to see somebody like just wave the flag and go see and go. It means a lot to AEW fans, bro. So and I think, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Find me the sports book that takes bets on Observer Awards. I'm putting $10,000 down. Best on Mike 2024. William Ospreay.
No. This is on the air. Hilarious. People are watching this, brother. Don't say those words out loud. No.
We're here.
You're going to get like 10 DMs all at once. Here's the sportsbook broker. Good luck. Dave's going to email you. I'm willing to take the bet,
Dave has his fucking own personal bookie calling me and shit.
But to your point, he is coming across very, very charming on TV. It really is working. The charisma is, and we talked about entrances earlier, and Chuck mentioned Ospreay's entrance. That thing is a hit, right? Like it feels great, and
I'm so happy that it's picked up. Like I was expecting the US crowds to take like a bit to get into it. Yeah. They've got it down immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things that like where you actually do see the power of social media in some ways, because that would always be clipped, right? Like especially the Tokyo Dome one was. It was like, whoa, it was awesome. So yeah, and also one other thing is that I love the way that this was framed as an interview, and it was interview time with Tony Schiavone, who gives these segments a prestige. It's cool when you have a legendary veteran announcer like Schiavone talk of a new athlete like Ospreay the way he's talking about him. Like, that's cool to me. Like,
that's very
here's this guy who's been watching, been commentating matches for the last 40 years, and he's like, this Will Ospreay dude is crazy, right? Like, it's really, really strong. I think they've done a really good job with this thus far. So, big thumbs up. And I'm intrigued, as Charlie mentioned, to see kind of how this build develops. Is there any match before we move on in particular you'd like to see before we get to the Dragon one, like kind of a on the road to match for Will Ospreay?
Ospreay should
kick this
wrestle
around.
Claudio. He should wrestle Claudio. I need that
That
match.
would be great.
Can you imagine? Good
I
lord.
know he's not the
So
most. I know he's not the most popular guy on the roster right now, but when you put Sammy Guevara in big spots, bro, like he fucking delivers. I would love to see him. I'd love to see him wrestle Ospreay. I feel like they could do something really cool.
Yeah, because it feels like that's what we're gonna get, right? Like Charlie mentioned, it feels like we're kind of just gonna get like kind of exhibition matches where the guys both just have these incredible matches and go over. So yeah, I'm interested
Brian
to
versus
see
Will
who they
Hobbs
pick.
could be real interesting. I feel
For
like
sure.
I feel like that's
I
something
agree.
they'd run on Collision.
Sounds like it. Sounds like some colliding right there. I'm with you. All right, folks. Please do, as we say all along. Otherwise, Monty finds me. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and send us a super chat if you're feeling generous. You should. It's big business, right?
It's big business,
man. Yeah, bigger business, as you put it out. So yeah, please do keep the
even
support
bigger.
coming. Even bigger business.
We do have a couple if you want to
yeah, go for it.
touch on
Go
those, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kale, 20 pesos. We appreciate you. Wait, no, 20 Mexican dollars?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah,
Mexican
that's
dollars?
correct.
Okay. All right. Tell us, Tony Storm, count your days as champ. It was kind of concerning to see Mercedes like in the I don't want to call it the TBS verse, but like involved with like women that are strictly in the TBS division last night. Not that I think it's gonna like bury her, fucking like ruin her run or anything like that. It's just like I'm ready to kind of move on from Thomas Tony Storm now. And I was one of her biggest advocates at the time, but it's just like
I think the real headline here is this super chat rightly putting as champ in brackets to make it clear that this wasn't like a death threat of some kind. I think that was a worthwhile point. like typed it out. I was like, well, hold on, you know.
FBI looking at him.
Appreciate the clearance.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Yeah, we'll get to that second.
They are oh yeah, we'll get to that segment, bro. But I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about them building towards a submission match rematch with Deanna.
No, excited, mate. I thought you'd be fired up.
I don't got it in me, Joe. I don't even got it in me to crack a joke right now, man. It's just not there. It's just not there.
Fair.
Oh, Hush's $2 super chat. What's going on with Book and Punk? Book is funny as fuck. I mean, these are two guys that legitimately have not liked each other for a very long time. You know, I'm not surprised. Like, if I found out that it went to blows, I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
But it has to be something specific because they met at the show that Punk did. Remember Punk did that NXT show? And Booker said they met. So it's obviously something new. I don't know if we were talking about it. Was this before the show we discussed this? It was, right? We can just briefly, we'll discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
Booker T telling a story only to explain that he doesn't want the story to be out there is...
He wanted it out there, bro, but he didn't want to seem like a stooge.
He just pretended,
he got the story out there. Because, like, Booker T's like, what? He's like 57. Like, he's a little bit old. He's older.
He's getting up there.
Knows. He knows how the internet works, bro. So he knows that he just gives us a little bit. Like, people will latch on to it. The Punk bad is what Punk bad. He knows what drives his podcast and engagement and all that shit. But he didn't want to seem like he stooged off the entire situation. She was just like, just know, Marks, there was a situation that happened.
But I don't want you to know about it.
Yeah, I don't want you to know about it. Please write the papers that I said I don't want you to know about it. Please write that.
Wrestling podcast, like this, it's just an incredible genre at this point. It's its own lane altogether. We'll see what happens with that one. I'm sure that'll be something that fills an hour of worldwide one week, I have no doubt. So stay tuned, folks. All right. We mentioned, the submission match that seems to be coming up. Deonna had a brief promo here. It was short and sweet, right? This was a fine promo, but she said she's gonna have some backup against Tony and Mariah was the headline, right? That was the conclusion. So I guess the general question now, I just got your thoughts on it, so I'll ask you, Chuck. Like, are you excited by this continuing, or are you ready for it to end?
I'm not overly excited about it. I feel like they feel there's more juice to the story, and they're involving other women in it. So I'm interested to see where it goes at least. And I think a submission match does play to Deonna's strengths, but against Toni is a choice with her current character. I don't know how well this is going to work. But I'm willing to give it a shot to see where it goes.
Are you willing to give it a shot?
Guess I fucking have to, right? Like,
you really have no choice.
Guess I
really.
fucking have to. It's just, bro, like that. And I might sound like an idiot here because I did not pay attention to that fucking pay-per-view match, but the entire build seemed like they were really trying to put over that ankle lock that Toni was doing. Did they? How did they lean into that during the match? Like, was that a?
I don't remember it being, and the finish definitely didn't involve it.
Yeah, they just didn't. During the build, they were putting over the fucking ankle lock and shit. They don't touch on it at all during the match. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna run this feud back, and it's a submission match this time.
Yeah,
so we're all just assuming it's a submission match. They might go for something else here. Like we don't
they might
really
go for something
know.
else, but like all the arrows are like pointing at it in a submission match.
Like you can't fault anyone for assuming it at this point.
Yeah.
I hope it's a TV and not a pay-per-view match because that stipulation feels like it'll make it actively harder for them to get that over in the middle of a 4-hour pay-per-view. You know, like it's just
absolutely.
If it's a TV match, especially if it's like out first or second, it feels like the people may actually be with it, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talk about heat being important for all these matches, but with a submission match, it really does matter a lot because like you have no false finishes really. You know, like you have to get the drama out of it. So. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the women's title scene moving forward. All right, up next is my actual favorite match on the show, and it was a really strong show. But this is my favorite match personally: Darby Allin and Jay White. This was like one of those matchups where as soon as you heard about it, you circled that's gonna be really good, right? It's a natural pairing. Great in-ring heel with Darby Allin, who at this point you know the deal, and it was more of the same on that front. Just multiple genuinely like unhinged spots in this match. So Charlie, take it away.
Dude, it's like does Darby actually want to climb Everest? Like, because the way he wrestled this match, I'm not convinced. Like throwing himself over the steps, like the coffin drop that did he do a coffin drop to the outside? He did something to the outside and he clipped the apron, and he did not clip the apron as much as he wanted to because that was a hard hit on the floor. But that fed into the finish, so it was kind of beast anyways. But yeah, no, I love this match, and I think that when Darby comes back, God bless, the rematch is going to be something special, and is honestly something that they could build for a pay-per-view. I'd be very happy to see them run this on a pay-per-view.
This could be his gimmick match, the coffin match that they do for like I think this could be a fit with that.
That would be great. That would be great.
Oh, yeah, I think Jay would have some really good ideas for that. Actually, like some cool. Because Swerve did. Remember, Swerve had some like really cool ideas about how to use it. Yeah. I think Jay would be similar. Really strong Jay White performance here, right? Like he was able to be even more physical than usual and kind of play bully against Darby. That's the beauty of Darby is everyone on the roster can play that role with him, right? It's just easy. And I thought they had a killer match. What did you think?
I've long held the belief that Darby Allin is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's sensational. I think Jay White really needed like this get me right game, so to call it, get me right match. I think some of the stuff he had going on was overblown. Like he finally turned on fucking the Acclaims last night. We all knew what was happening as soon as they got paired, but it went way too long. And it was just like then they were just like there would be great episodes of Collision, great episodes of Dynamite. And it's just like, what did Jay White do on the show? And he had the backstage segment with fucking Max Caster, bro. And it's just like, this doesn't look great, bro. Like you see the things that all the other top guys have going on right now. They're doing great things. And it's just like, what did Jay White do on the show? So for him to have a standout match, really strong performance, fucking caved Darby's chest in with those chops. That ending was really clever too, with the count out, and then as soon as he got in, like you think as soon as he gets in, he might have a babyface comeback, whatever. It's like no, bro, he caught a fucking Blade Runner 1, 2, 3 matches over. Yep. I really liked that ending, but so they're gonna. I hope the booking in the trios division is better with the Bang Bang Gang getting the belts because it got like as soon as the Acclaim got the belts, bro, it just stopped like wrestling serious people, and it would just be like party match. Not it wouldn't even be party matches, bro. They would just be out there fucking around,
Just
kinda.
match.
Like, yeah, it would just be match with like just slap a bunch of slap dicks out there, bro. Like unserious people, like. It sucked, bro. The Trios division fucking sucked. So hopefully they get some real feuds, and
Do you reckon the unification match is going to be on Super Card of Honor? It feels like they're going to run it on Super Card of Honor. That might be why they pushed the turn. They need matches for that show, so
that's a good idea. Yeah, so just to kind of fill in the gaps on that, like because I know we got very excited about Darby Allin's violent bumping and kind of jumped ahead, but yeah, as you mentioned, Jay White had that finish where he caught him immediately when he got back in, and then afterwards they had a strong angle, I thought, right, where Jay and the Guns were going to try and break Darby's ankle or something to that effect. Anyway, they were stopped by the Acclaimed. Genuinely for a moment was expecting Sting, and then was like, oh yeah, that's not a thing anymore. It's unfortunate, I was like, that was where my brain was at, but instead the Acclaim were out. And as soon as it was coming together, you kind of realized, right, like, okay, I think finally we're escaping this. I think it's happening now. Right. And indeed it did. And the Bang Bang Scissor Gang not only beat up the Acclaimed and Billy, but then the highlight of all of it to me was they dragged
Darby, we're not done with you, Darby, bro. Like,
that was great.
Really hammering home that this feud ain't done. So.
Yeah. I do love like the wrestling logic of like, explaining someone is leaving to climb Mount Everest, but because it's wrestling, you still have to write them off. He's
it's very
incredible
funny.
Beast. Yeah, like, it doesn't really make sense, but it's professional wrestling as it's supposed to be. So yeah, that was the angle. And what do you reckon, Supercard for the trios unification?
I never gave it any thought until you guys said it just now, but it makes a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense why they stretched it this fucking long. Because I was like, if not a Revolution, then do it on Big Business. Like, we're gonna want a lot of big matches for this show. But they didn't do it there either. They finally set up the feud properly. I guess let's Supercard.
Yeah, works.
You don't need to stretch it to Dynasty. Please, God, just do it as Supercard of Honor. No. It's Mania weekend. People love seeing Jay White. Run it on Supercard of Honor.
Yep, I agree completely. So at this point in the show, we're like 90 minutes into the show, and this may have been the fastest moving. In terms of like my enjoyment, this show had flown by at this point. And before I go any further, folks, I'm not saying it fell off a cliff because it didn't. There's good stuff ahead, to be clear. But I remember at this point specifically looking at the time and being like, holy shit, this show has gone so fast. And the one thing I wanted to kind of talk about at this moment was, this was something we were talking about through the night on social media and such. Everyone was tweeting about this. Like, the talent pool, this was the show where I think it was most evident, the roster that's been built here, right? Like, there was a couple of tweets to mention, like, Mercedes to Joe to the Elite and Eddie Kingston to Will Ospreay to this match here. I guess my question is, how close to this do you think the average weekly episode of Dynamite could be? Because obviously, look, we all understand they can't all be this quite, right? But I think they can be closer than we've been used to at times. Like, does that make sense?
Because they were for
pretty much everyone's in big stories.
Yeah.
Like all the main characters were in pretty much big stories. So this is what Dynamite's going to be for a while.
Go for it.
This should be the norm. Obviously, you can't do it every week, like you just said, but like when people tune into AEW Dynamite, they should be expecting something similar to this. I feel like.
Yeah, matches like that, like Jay White and Darby Allin, it's like you could absolutely burn that match. Totally, right? Like, I think we've liked Dynamite a lot this year. So this isn't even a criticism so much as it's like what we would like from it. We think we make it better. I really think they should emphasize the word elite on Wednesdays. Like, who are the best guys we've got, right? It's an incredible roster, Chuck.
It is, and it's kind of insane because we're talking about like the level of talent on Dynamite this week. There's no Kenny at the moment. Hangman, Bandido's not around at the moment. There's Jamie Hayter. Like, there's so many people still missing to bring back into the fold. And it's like, that maybe they do need a 2-hour Rampage because where are you going to put everyone? Like, it's one of the best rosters wrestling has ever seen. Like, if not the best roster. So.
And like Joe said, like, stop being so afraid to like have
Yes.
upper tier guys wrestle each other. Because yes, we just did Darby versus Jay White on free television. Like there's no real quote unquote story going on around it. But Mox and Swerve wrestled twice in the winter.
Yeah.
If his feud going to Double or Nothing was Swerve versus Mox headlining the pay-per-view, fucking 5-week feud, you tell me people wouldn't love that? You tell me people wouldn't be excited for that? That wouldn't draw a bunch of fucking money? People would lose their shit. Like I think like people can wrestle and then meet later down the road on different terms and it be just as big or not, if not big, much bigger.
Absolutely. I mean, Jay and Darby is a good example because literally we immediately pivoted to the rematch should be great. They could do a coffin match. They could do this. The beauty of having great wrestlers is you can actually give us the match and we'll want more of it. That's the beauty of them being great wrestlers, right? Like,
look at Swerve and Hangman. They've wrestled like what 3 times in the past 4 months.
Right, exactly. Like that. When people talk about hot shot and such, there are certain attractions in wrestling history where you couldn't give them the match because the reality was once they saw the match, they wouldn't be rushing to see it again. They understood what it was. The great thing about having talent of this caliber is like we had a 12-minute Jay White Darby Allin match. You barely scratch the surface. Like they can wrestle a bunch more. So that's just an example, but it's definitely something that I think as we do this review show, we'll try and kind of circle back to is like we can enjoy the shows in a vacuum, but I do think it's always important to remember just how good this squad is right now. So anyway, with that rambling out the way, I think we have a couple more super chats, mate. Go for it.
Indeed. Bro, $2 super chat. Need Darby to watch Everest 2015 and reconsider. I've never seen that movie. The people, I'm guessing people like die and fucking lose limbs from.
I assume so. Yeah, I don't know.
WrestlePurists is on. Good job, Marcus. We appreciate you, my brother. $5 super chat. Ospreay being the happiest man in the world to be working in AEW is a nice refresh from every face last year hating life in the company. Yeah, man.
It's a real thing, yeah.
It is.
It's the people like seeing a wrestler who seems happy to be there. It's fun.
Yazora Hart, $10 super chat. I think Big Biz should be the norm. AEW has always felt like they got 80% of what they could from their roster. 85%. Just needs to trim the fat. If you're a shitter or mid, take that ass to Honor Club. Hey man, you make a lot of good points.
Even like Rampage, even is like, you can have guys on there that you can try stuff. The one thing I would say is underneath guys, like it's better if it's someone that you have an idea for and you think maybe some of the mid-card guys in AEW they've been in the same spot for 5 years. Like it is what it is, right?
Exactly.
So that's the one thing I would say. But yeah, it's definitely something that's kind of, I guess, will be essential, especially with all these new signings. So we shall see how that develops. Up next, incredible conversation to lead into this. We had Chris Jericho and Hook.
No. We have one more. Just to touch on that one more time. House of Black, man. Maybe it's time to see what you guys can do on Thursday nights, man. Malachi Black in a heated TV title feud with Kyle Fletcher. Some money to be drawn on Thursday nights with that right there.
That was very cunning what you did with that Kyle Fletcher thing was that was pointed what you did there. I respect
I like Kyle.
Which makes it funnier what you did. That's what makes it funnier.
All right,
when you started that bit, I thought you were reading a super chat, but you'd actually just circle back to get that off. That was incredible. All right, carry on, my bad.
Kale, 50 pesos. We appreciate you. No excuse this year for All In to not have an all-star stacked card, pending any unfortunate scenario with money matches. Money, smiley face. Absolutely. I completely agree, bro. I completely agree. I think last All In there was a real just happy to be there experience, like because you look back and it's just there's not a lot to like that you want to go back and visit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this year's card will be like completely.
Let's get these singles matches, bro. Let's get these quote unquote dream matches going.
Agreed.
Ibrahim Niang, $5. It's $5 super chat. We appreciate you, Ibu. Promise we didn't bury you too much this week. Late stage Vincent Kennedy McMahon, WWE put a negative stigma on rematches but they can be an effective storytelling tool. I completely agree, bro.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Cage is someone that I try and cite a lot about this because he actively is better when given the chance to work a series with someone.
Yeah.
You know, like if you go back and watch the Wrestle Dream match with Darby, that match actively uses the things from their other interactions. Like that's the beauty of wrestling, man. You give them more time to get better chemistry. It's like absolutely, I agree completely. So,
and it was a completely different match than the collision match that they had too.
Yeah.
Like,
you can establish ideas that you go back to. It's great wrestlers love that opportunity, you know. So yeah, absolutely.
Pizza Dog, $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Why is Chris Jericho afraid to go home and divorce his wife? Yo, so she's been tweeting some kooky things as of late again.
Again,
bro. Again.
I didn't say that.
Now she's putting Jericho's name in it too now. It's getting nasty, brother.
I mean, it's been nasty. It's been nasty for a while.
Let's get that push. Like, I think one of them was like, who should Candace Owens have next on her podcast? And his wife replied, Chris Jericho. Like, no, you're not just tell the public that Chris is sitting around listening to Candace Owens. No.
Oh dear. That is terribly unfortunate in every which way. All right, folks, with that established, we now move to Chris Jericho and Hook versus the Gates of Agony up next on Dynamite. We hope you're enjoying the show. Thumbs up, subscribe, and the super chats have been great tonight, right?
We appreciate y'all support.
Yeah, I mean, great.
Please continue to send in super chats, like, subscribe.
Yeah, it's hard to even keep up with the super chat. Last week, folks, there was such an ovation for Monty being in attendance. The super chats went up. We were devastated by this. It was a real shame, but anyway, Gates of Agony. I'm a big fan.
Me too.
I didn't think this match was like terrible so much as I just can't. I don't care. I'm sorry. I can't.
No, I completely agree, bro. Like you're watching, it's just I love Jericho, bro. Like before all this shit came out, whatever. My opinion of Chris Jericho is one of the greatest of all time. Loved him. Have loved him since I was a kid, bro. Like I don't want to see him anymore. At least not for a while. Like the way that we're using him, it's bad, bro. Like it's really, really bad.
And I don't even understand like what. Like I do. The story is that he's like testing or like trying to figure out. I don't know what he's trying to do. He like wants to know.
No, bro. There is no. Why the fuck does he care about Hook? Why does he care about Hook? Why does he care about Hook and kayfabe?
Yeah, and he was like. Again, we'll jump around it because whatever at this point. But in the backstage segment, he was like, but I need to really figure out when I'm opposite the ring from you. And it's like, why? What is he trying to figure it out for?
If he's not putting Hook over, I don't care. And like, what is Jericho putting someone over for?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Is this Jericho trying to get an act over before doing the tag tournament? Because I don't think so. Like, I don't think he's going to be in it, bro.
But why would they do the singles match next week if they're in the tag tournament?
I honestly think that Hook is going to beat him and Jericho's going to turn heel. I think is what's going to happen. Because Chris is many things, but he can probably hear that the reactions aren't quite what they were. I think that's fair to say. But it's just, I don't know. It's a weird story they're telling. And the finish to this match was hilarious when they tried that like red rum Walls of Jericho.
Yeah, I hated it. I really hated that.
That looked like shit. I'm sorry, bro. That just looked like
did,
shit.
yeah. Totally Owner was fun in this, Chuck. Anything on this tag match?
I think the presentation of Gates of Agony was really cool, and that's something that I always give props to AEW for. Like when people are like representing like parts of themselves, they always give them the freedom to do that like to the fullest extent. And like Gates of Agony looked great last night in terms of their presentation and that. And then the bell rang, and I was like, "Wow, they're wrestling Jericho." There was some alright spots. I didn't pay too much attention to this match. I really can't lie, but I hated the finish. So take that as you will.
Yeah, folks, I do apologize. I mean, generally we try and assess it, but I can't.
But when you're reviewing another Jericho segment, when our assessment has been for the past month, please go away for some time. It gets hard to be like genuine about it, so we might as well just have some fun at this point.
Yeah, and the thing with me too is like I'm not like a huge Hook fan by any means. So this just gives me an excuse to just like check out entirely, you know, like it is what it is. AO, anything else on the tag match, right?
Nah, cause just like I'm not spiteful towards Hook at all. I don't want anybody to think I am. Like I think he's a talented young man. I think he can be molded into something in the future. But as it stands right now, when like a Hook match is announced, I don't really give a fuck, bro. Like I don't really care. Like the act right now, the act just isn't like for me, and that's fine, bro. Not everything's gonna be for me. But then you say he's tagging with Chris Jericho, bro. And it's just like this is somebody that we've for months have now said he needs a fucking break. He needs to go away sometimes. So learn a new hold. We can learn to miss him or whatever the fuck. Then he could come back down later. But he hasn't. So it's just like it's two guys that we don't care about. Then it's wrestling a team that I do care about in Gates of Agony, but it's not like they win on Dynamite or even get the most time ever. So it's just like you know what you're like looking at going into this thing. And you go into the match. It's not the best worked match by any means. And it's just like why are we doing this, bro? Why?
Yeah. Any show, there's going to be a moment where the crowd kind of catch their breath, but this was more than that. This just was like, it felt like the obvious low point of the show. Yeah, it was like very, very telling. I will say, I hope the Gates of Agony get like a nice run.
I hope they're in the tag tournament.
Me too. Me too. I hope they win some matches, hopefully.
Ideally, there'd be like a project within that tournament, right? And get some kind of like, get a real run, but we'll see. I think there's something like that act. It isn't necessarily something that's going to get like a star rating triumph, but you look at that act and the way they can wrestle, it's like there's something there with the Gates of Agony. I've believed that for a long time. So hopefully it begins to take shape soon, folks. All right. Up next, we had a Kyle O'Reilly backstage interview. He was interrupted by Roddy and the Undisputed Kingdom. And the point is he's wrestling Brian Keith on Saturday, which is a pretty cool match. I don't think any of us guessed that last week, right? I don't think any of us picked that. We did not. We also didn't guess it would be on Collision. So this
is true. I did not expect Kyle O'Reilly to be a collider, but
yes, there's another great prediction here from your friends at WrestlePurists. So, nonetheless, Chuck, I know you're into this kind of restart with Kyle, right, and like kind of resetting him as a babyface. Talk to us about this.
I'm super excited to see where Kyle's at in ring. And I think BK is a really inspired choice because he's had some really great showings in AEW and he's still at that point. Him losing to a name like Kyle O'Reilly doesn't affect like him building stock in AEW. So I think this was a great choice all around. Kyle's like been pretty good on the mic, which isn't something I remember him having a strength in these backstage promos. But I do want to talk about Roddy Strong, and this is not my favorite use of him as a champion. Why is he not getting the Orange Cassidy rollout and wrestling for 15 minutes at the beginning of every Dynamite? This week, I can allow it. It was big business. It was Mercedes night. But bro, what are we doing? He hasn't defended the belt at all since Revolution, and we're 2 weeks out. What are we doing? It's the international belt.
I've been quietly monitoring that situation. I don't want to ever go full like crazed Roddy fan, you know, because people know that's my gimmick around here.
I'll do it. I don't care.
I appreciate that, Chuck, because I've been monitoring it. Collision's got mostly a clean, so hopefully there's something for Collision. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly an interesting point here. What do you make of this O'Reilly kind of repackage, I guess, with the way I put it?
It's interesting. I'm wondering where they're going with this. If all this is just leading towards a match with Roddy, I don't know if you should do that this early in Roddy's reign. He hasn't had a single title defense yet. I know that the rebuttal to Chuck's request of why is he not wrestling for 15 minutes at the start of every Dynamite like OC is because OC's a draw, Roddy not so much. However,
this is
Collision gets the same numbers no matter what you put on that show. So it's just like why you should be wrestling for fucking 15 minutes every Collision. Start the show, middle of the show, end the show. Who gives a fuck? Put Roddy on TV. Like we said, there's pretty much nothing booked for Collision right now, at least that we know of. Maybe he is having a match this week. I'm excited for Brian Keith
versus wrestle Matt Sydal.
Roddy Strong. Because Brian Keith's not somebody that was like, I'm a fan. Well, I was a fan of the Independents, not so much anymore. We got fucking. I was gonna say something spiteful, but never mind. So I'm not that familiar on Brian Keith. Like I saw his Super Juniors, his fucking Bola stuff, and I really liked it. And I was like, he got really over with me through losing on television because his efforts have been really strong every time. So I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. One thing I would say about our friend Kyle O'Reilly, coming across like a lovely fella, Kyle, just little energy, just a little, just a little.
He looks so tired all the time. Bless him.
He does. He's very
diabetic.
endearing.
His sugar might be off.
Very endearing fella. Coming across great, just a little, just a smidge of energy wouldn't hurt. I think it's fair to say.
That is a very fair. Yeah, that is very.
But it is part of his appeal, isn't it? It's like he's not like the wrestler guy to go there and yell. He's kind of quirky and he marches a bit of his own drum. So anyway, we're rooting for Kyle. We'll see how he does on Saturday. Okay, folks, we're nearing.
That was a good performance.
I think he'll be fine, honestly. I think his style, is not super reliant on like explosiveness, right? I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Folks, we're nearing the main event here, so final call or something like that anyway for super chats. So keep those coming. Do we have any super chats lined up?
I accidentally clicked off on one. Let me try and find it. All right, here it goes.
Okay.
Harv, £2 super chat. Swerve about to be my world champ while WWE got Cody. Harv, bro, you're not beating the Cody Nation racism allegations. You're not beating the Hyrule Husky allegations right now. What I would tell you is thank you for the £2. Thank you for the views. I dearly appreciate it. But you're simply just gonna have to fucking cry, bro. You're just gonna have to cry, and then after you cry, right? Just continue to cope. Just cope for a while, like 24 hours to 48 hours, of just pure coping. And then by Dynamite, when he has his coronation, I want you to just fucking seethe. Just seethe while Swerve Strickland has that title around his waist, my friend. All right? Thank you so much for your support.
My friend is fucking incredible.
Incredible.
Super chat. Can you each name a wrestler you're buying stock in and selling stock in 2024? To sell stock, you need to have bought it at some point.
I'm selling my Wardlow stock. I'm sorry. I know he had like
2024. That's an easy out.
No, I bought back in when they were doing the vignettes.
Okay.
I'm going to do this here. I'm going to admit to something here that I'm ashamed of. I did sell the stock a long time ago, but I never publicly faced the shame I should have. So I'm going to do it now. I thought Bear Country were quite good, and I would like to apologize to anyone watching this show right now, and all of Great Britain for that matter, for ever saying that.
I'm going to be honest with you, my friend. I thought that was a bit.
No,
bro.
I actually thought they were quite good. And then they emerged as the Iron Savages, and genuinely, with respect to these two gentlemen, who I'm sure I think they are probably the worst act in all of wrestling right now. They are so bad, it's not so much. It's not even so much them as like the way they approach the Iron Savages shtick. I can't do it. So I sold the stock already, but again, I needed to take that. I owed everyone that, right? I could have to be honest with them. So
this hurts me. This hurts me because I've been a fan since I came back to wrestling in 2015, 2016. But and this might change. It might change, but baby, I'm selling that stock, brother.
Oh, that is I never fair.
It's out of here, man.
I've quietly also sold my Adam Cole stock.
It's gone, bro. And I'm not saying you can't come back and be a great TV act. Maybe you will. I don't think you should ever main event a pay-per-view again. Probably not. Not even probably. I'm just gonna say I don't think you should ever main event a pay-per-view for AEW. I don't think you should have a multi-week build to a world championship any longer. I'm not you might be a fantastic international champion one day, fantastic TNT, but yeah, my stock's sold. Maybe it'll change.
Yeah.
Who will be buying stock in this?
That's
after Elimination Chamber, like my Tiff Strat stock has skyrocketed. She is something special.
I do like I've had Tiff Strat stock since the first time I saw her work. I was like, she's gonna main event WrestleMania one day. So I'm not gonna say I'm buying her because that was before 2024.
I don't really watch the product, so
Oh no,
Is
I
there
don't
any
watch it
move-
at all either. But fucking
Yeah, no, I
he forces
know.
me
You
sometimes,
can
so.
tell with Tiff
There's-
Strat. Yeah. Is there any movement on Keith Lee's stock as of late, guys? Any movement?
I sold that in 2023.
I
didn't
saw
wanna
that
shoot
a
the people.
minute ago.
The price is down. Maybe it's
Bro.
maybe it's time.
Joe, I will tell you, Joe, I bought that stock when it was at $150 a share. It was dipping. Our friend Monty was looking into my stock portfolio. He was like, "Hey, yo, bro, what are you gonna do with this stock in it, mate?" And I was just like, "Yo, I'm holding on to it. Keith's gonna lose weight. He's gonna come back. Oh my God, the things Keith's gonna do." When he missed that match at Wrestle Dream, bro. You know what? I bought it at $150 a share, bro. I sold it at 13 cents a share. I lost my ass on that fucking stock, bro. It's gone. It's out of here.
It happens. I'll say one. Here's one I'd buy a stock, and I've been a fan for a while, but I think he may wind up being a single star. I'm going to take Anthony Bowens. I think.
Yeah, that's.
I think he's.
Yeah.
I think just looking at the way things are trending, right? Like it feels like he may get a singles opportunity sooner than we actually expected. So, yeah, there's a name, I guess, but that's a fun question.
As someone that was very supportive of the guns being added to Bullet Club Gold, I feel like that was decent stocks to put some money into. They've been.
Yes, that was.
I will say, well, when all WrestlePurists were very spiteful about it, Charlie was like, "Hold on now, we might have something here."
Yeah,
I was in the crowd at Collision when they officially joined. Hilariously, in Toronto.
Yeah, I bought gun stock when they defended their belts against like Top Flight, and then as soon as I watched the FTR match, sold it all and never spoke of it again. So
Jesus
I respect
Christ, that FTR match, bro.
It was so bad.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was Brock Anderson levels of just get your kids off TV.
It was way too like convoluted for where they were at as wrestlers at that point, right? Like the finish had like 8 different pieces. Yeah,
that was.
Chaz got some good suggestions. Queen Aminata and Stephanie Vakir.
Oh yeah,
some good shots to stock into that I have done as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
I think Queen Aminata is going to be an absolute star one day.
I'm still recovering from just revealing that Bear Country thing, dude. That took a lot out of me. So.
Bro, when the green guys were on the timeline popping huge for the fucking Bulk Jameson and the Savage Sauce, whatever the fuck they had going on. Oh my God, bro! Like this is a nice little bit. This is the inside joke they have going on in the community. So to find out Joe genuinely likes these guys, I don't think I know this guy anymore.
It hit me like a ton of bricks too, man. It was like last summer. Like I watched it at one point. I was like, wait, they're bad. What the fuck? Yeah.
Wait.
Anyway. Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh.
We'll get some wrong.
Kale, 20 pesos super chat. Thank you so much for your support this stream, man. One last to round off the 3 for 3. Shout out to WrestlePurists. Shout out to you, man. We appreciate the support.
It's been tremendous house. We appreciate support throughout the night, right?
Hold on. One more just came in. It's Evil being fucking annoying as he always is. $2 super chat. Selling on Penta, unfortunately.
Okay.
Quietly declining. Look, Joe, do you want to handle this or should I?
Yeah, I'll handle this we can both, but I'll lead by saying the idea that Ivu had Penta stock in 2024 he sold that shit 2 years ago, dude. There's no way.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, bro. Ibu, you're a piece of shit. You didn't have any Penta stock to sell. You saw an opportunity to bury him, and you took it. You're disgusting. I hate you.
I love the way he said quietly declining, like he was gonna fool us. We know you, Ibu WrestlePurists.
But that isn't something that he's actively brought up on several podcasts.
Bro, he said Raul Mendoza was better than Penta. I remember this.
I remember that space.
He said here here's my Mexican rankings list. Had multiple people on there that were not Mexican. And he didn't even say luchador. He said Mexican. Because I believe like if you work a lucha style, you are a luchador. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, fucking Filipino, or whatever. But he said Mexican. And posted multiple non-Mexicans on the list.
Fucking insane.
Oh, God bless him. What a character, folks. What a character.
AJ, $2 super chat. We appreciate you. Joe, how many big mountain stocks have you bought?
It's too expensive, man. Monty's bought all of it up. It's too,
Bro, it's like
it's too expensive.
that's
He's
like,
got a
that's like
monopoly on it.
that's like trying to like buy like Apple stock in bulk nowadays, bro. You gotta buy these partial shares that amount of stock, bro. It's through the roof.
Absolutely. Did you see? Just quickly, did you see the deal where he played rock paper scissors with
Oh my
Amelia from the
god.
chicken shop?
I missed that.
It's
Bravo,
so
you need
fucking
to. It's from the
funny.
Oscars red carpet. She's like,
Let me
"Can we
see if
play
I
rock
can
paper scissors?" And he loses this game, and he's like, just absolutely outraged about it. Like, can't wrap his head around. He declares that she was cheating. I mean, he's kind of right, but how mad he appears to be is godly. Like, he's like, "Run it back." He says, "What is this bullshit?" At one point.
It's so
Hold on.
good.
I'll have to find this tweet.
Let me see if I can find
It's
this.
incredible, dude.
Please send,
It's
if you
great.
find it, please send it to me, Charlie.
Yes, absolutely. We'll circle back to this before the show's done. I want AO's official review of this, man. All right. We
Yes.
proceed with Dynamite. In the meantime, Willow Nightingale and Riho had, had a brief video package to set up the main event. And then, of course, we had the Lion Hook backstage interview that I mentioned previously. So that's coming up next week. Hook and Chris Jericho in Toronto. Okay. Stage was set. Willow Nightingale, Riho, Dynamite main event. Big spot for this match, and I thought they certainly delivered.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed last week about this being kind of a natural stylistic matchup, and I think that was on display here, right? Like, dude, they brought it, and Riho was kicking ass here, man. She was her offense here was like really, really sharp, but really, really strong main event. What did you make of the Dynamite main?
I love this fucking main event. As soon as it was announced, I knew what they would bring to the table, and they absolutely fucking delivered. They were clobbering each other. Like, Rio was really like laying her shit in for the people that are just like, oh, Rio's tiny, she doesn't belong in there, blah blah blah. Fucking, I thought Rio's spine was gonna explode when she got hit with that Dr. Bomb, bro. That thing was brutal. They beat the shit out of each other. It's two acts that are beloved by the AEW fan base. The crowd was hot for them. They deserve everything they get, man. They're class wrestlers, bro.
I agree. It was fun to see them in this spot too, right? Like, it felt like they were given an opportunity, and you just knew once they got it, they were going to run with it. That was really, really cool to see. Choke, what did you make of the main event?
I really liked it. Riho's kind of like the Derby. Like, she's very much a cheat code. You throw her in there with anyone, and they're gonna like have a good match, and like people are gonna get into it. In her and Widow, like, it was a bit of a weird dynamic having two baby faces in the ring. Like, you could tell the crowd didn't really like get who they were meant to cheer for at first,
right.
But like when Rio was like feeding her comebacks, like they were really getting behind her, and they had great chemistry. Like, I think that there's like, I would like to see them revisit this match at some point with a clear babyface heel dynamic, because that could be something special, especially if Willow's the heel, which I know a lot of people are against, and I'm not saying this is something they should do within the next year or even the next 2 years. It's okay. Relax. It's all right. Don't come for me. But I think it could be a very cool match if they were to ever go that direction. But this one was really good as well. The finish was awesome as well. I think they did a really great job laying this out.
I'm not saying Willow could never go heel, but I think she just needs an extended title run.
For sure,
even TBS.
I agree.
As the super over bubbly babyface.
Super babyface.
You need to get as much out of this particular version of her as possible, right? You have to.
Absolutely.
So I agree completely.
That's why I put my hands up immediately. I was just like, not right now.
I'm innocent.
This is not a hangman situation. I'm not pushing for it.
Right, absolutely. But their approach to this kind of babyface match dynamic was they basically just did like really cool shit against each other, and it worked the tree. It bumped heavy.
Bro, I don't know if you guys caught this, but when Mercedes brought up Willow during her promo, they booed the fuck out of her. So I was scared during the match that Willow was just gonna get booed out the building. They was gonna have to adjust in ring, and I don't know how that works with the international talent. I'm not sure how much English Rio knows, but thank God, like when it actually got to the wrestling, if Willow did something that a babyface would do, she would get babyface pops and whatnot.
Yeah, it was like the Joe Swerve dynamic we discussed, right? Where it was like when the match was like, no, we're cool with Willow now. If something happens later, we'll talk about it then. But for now, we're cool with Willow again. So that worked. We mentioned Mercedes post match. we had an angle here with the lights going out and there was some CEO chants. They came back on to an okay reaction, I think it's fair to say, for the Julia shot. And Sky from behind, Julia and Sky put the boots to Willow some. And then, of course, Mercedes music hit. She had an outfit change, new attire for the run-in.
My God, what a way.
God bless.
Dynamite Review Show specifically has discussed like 400 Sky Blue matches, and sometimes they've been negative reviews, sometimes they've been positive. There's one thing we can all agree on. God bless her feed of that Mercedes.
Oh my God.
She sounded like she died.
Yes, that is how it's done. And I mean, let's be fair. Mercedes did some of that for a by just absolutely whacking. I mean, that's where it should be, though, right? Like, it's one shot. It's your first physicality in the promotion. Fine, bro. Yeah, that's perfect. And it immediately made an impact. Like, I was watching with Papa Holbert, and he's like, Jesus.
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it made a statement within the kind of angle. And then, of course, Mercedes came down. She had some physicality with Julia. She hit her finish on Julia, the one that was mentioned earlier from the Tokyo Dome. Went a little smoother this time, thankfully. So that was good. And then afterwards, Willow raised Mercedes' hand, left the ring to her. Triumphant closing of Boston. Just kind of showing adulation, right? Just adoration for Mercedes Monè to close the show. And I thought this went off the air with just like, we use the word vibes a lot, sometimes to a fault, but this thing really just felt great going off the air, didn't it? It was like, that felt like a moment. And the first thing that came to my mind was that was a home run. So post-match angle, Charlie, what did you make of this business getting Monè back out there and such?
Like, I expected Monè to come back during the post-match angle. To chase off Julia and Sky wasn't quite what I was expecting, but it did pop me quite a bit because we had discussed this in a group chat like 2 days ago. It's just like, she's going to work with the Spooky Sisters at some point. Wasn't expecting it to be the first feud, but Sky selling of the punch, Julia's selling of the finisher. I think I'm okay with it at the moment if they run this tag match. And I think they should run the tag match as soon as next week. Like, let's get the ball rolling on this and let's get something done with it, because of the people love Mercedes, the people love Willow. Them teaming together is going to be a really nice moment, I think, to like build to them. Like, they're going to have a feud in AEW as well. Like, there's a lot of history between them, like, because of obviously that's the match that Mercedes got injured in. And I will say, I'm really happy that they gave the moment to Willow to like celebrate with her just before she left the ring. Because like, I can't imagine being Willow in that situation of, yes, it was a fluke it was a fluke injury, like it was genuine accident. It wasn't Willow's fault. But imagine being in the match against Mercedes that like halted her like the highly anticipated run outside of WWE. Like, so I'm really glad for her that she got this moment with Mercedes return as well. I think that was a really nice touch.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, I thought it was very, very nicely handled. And as you said, that's something you can go back to that whenever, right? Especially when Mercedes is a heel inevitably. That's a natural direction. Any thoughts on the post-match angle to close the show, mate?
Oh, absolute home run. I did let out a spiteful laugh when the CEO chants were going on and it was pitch black, and then Julia Hart instead of just silence. Just silence. But, no, but I loved everything about it. Like you said, the fucking bump that Sky Blue took on that fucking face. Well, that was masterful. Mercedes looked like an absolute fucking star again. Looked like $1 million. Yes. Her raising Willow's hand in front of like 9.5K people. How many? It was a lot of people there last night, bro. Like, those pictures were insane.
Like 9.4, I think it ended up being.
It was a big moment. Like Ibu tweeted out, this match main event the show. Let's make a statement. And multiple people in his mentions like, oh, that's ratings death, that's ratings death, that's ratings death. And no, it didn't pop the biggest quarter. But, not everything's about a random quarter on a random Wednesday in fucking March, bro. Like, this moment was bigger than that. Like, my only concern is that I hope Mercedes isn't in the TBS division right now. Like, I hope this was just like a thing that was just like, Mercedes has been involved with Willow specifically in the past. So like, let's tie a cute little bow here, let them have a moment so they can both move on as baby faces for now until Mercedes inevitably turns somewhere down the line. But yeah, other than that, that was like even like the dancing that took it off air to the music
Mhm.
with the CEO chants after they cut the music and the CEO chants were fucking.
Yeah.
Bro, it sounded like they were gonna blow the roof off when they cut the music with those chants, bro. Like
Yeah,
it was a
absolutely.
real moment, bro. Like,
Yeah.
maybe,
Who cares about
that's the
ratings
feeling.
when
That's
that
the
clip's
feeling,
gonna
man.
live forever?
Bro,
Well, it's also
fuck
you
about
have to
ratings.
make that investment too. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to, in order to make any kind that you can't just look and be like, they didn't draw today, so that's it. Like just
exactly,
Yeah.
concede. Like to
exactly.
me, I think Willow in particular, I think Willow is one of the most remarkable people on the entire roster. You
Mhm.
have to live with like it's not going to happen overnight, right? Like
Exactly.
Yes.
so, it's an investment. You can't if you focus too much on the week to week, you will absolutely pay the price for it in the long term. It's not a healthy way to do it. We've learned that through history, right? Invest now, you'll benefit later. It's got to be the point. It has to be the approach. But
Exactly.
yeah, really, really strong Dynamite. I think it's pretty clear we all loved it. It was, I mean, we had a couple things we were not so high on, but a really, really strong show. Yeah,
Mhm.
smash hit. I thought they nailed it, honestly. So big thumbs up. AO it appears. Last couple of super chats, mate. What have we got for us?
We have Chance Producer, $5 super chat. We appreciate you. I personally haven't liked Mercedes' new finisher this entire run. Sadly, it feels too slow to set up. Well, like Gory Guerrero invented that hold, not the DDT portion of it, but he invented the
Right.
hold.
Yeah.
He's Eddie's uncle. Eddie's
I think so. Yeah.
We'll go Eddie's uncle. He's Eddie Guerrero's uncle. Obviously, like that family has like a lot of influence on Mercedes' style. I like it.
Mhm.
If you think it's too slow to set up, man, you're entitled to your opinion. I personally like it. I like that it's something different. She's just not doing her same WWE finishes.
I'm somewhere in the middle on it. Yeah. Like, I think it's there's something there. There's the execution. I think could be quicker, but she also like milked it last night specifically, right? Like she
Yes.
she let this sink in for a moment. So, but yeah, was I think as more people take it, we'll see kind of different
So
versions.
Jizzle is saying that Gory is Edwards'
Well,
dad.
there you go.
Hey man, there's
There you go,
there's
folks.
a lot of people in that family with the same name. Eddie's one of my
Mhm.
goats. I probably should have fucking
Yeah.
knew that though.
As you
I
know, I'm
apologize,
only an
Edward.
expert. I'm only an expert about Chavo Jr., as you know. So I can't be expected to know these things, you know.
Sajizzle, $2 super chat. What's Mercedes do at the Worcester, Massachusetts Dynamite?
What is
So that is April 3rd.
Ooh.
Has there ever been a report that Mercedes 100% cleared?
I don't know. There's been a lot of reports.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think there has been a report that she's 100% cleared. You'd think after last night that she is.
So there's 2 Dynamites between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's where they actually do the first match. I would like them to do it sooner. But I do wonder if that's where they will do it. It's interesting. Yeah, it feels like there should definitely be something. I mean, that should be a main event match for Mercedes, right? You would assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, next week she was advertised to appear. So maybe they set up a match.
Maybe they set something up. Yeah.
Yeah. Ideally, I think she would wrestle on the 27th, right? Promo next week, and then they set up a match.
Yeah.
I would honestly, like the words that are back on my mouth. Okay, Sky Blue match is obviously like a meme, but it feels like they're gonna do the Sky Blue match, right? Like,
yeah, it does.
in one way or another, you're gonna do the Sky Blue match and the tag match. So I would probably do the tag match in the Massachusetts show because I think that the ceiling on that's higher. Sky Blue thing just is what it is, right? I think we've all accepted that.
Hey man, but I think there's
How does that play into all of this? Because she didn't come out to make the save for Willow.
Yeah, so they dropped a video on Twitter that like Stat was claiming she was mysteriously attacked, and apparently she's like, it looks like she's seemingly acting like a piece of shit and nothing actually happened to her and something sneaky's going on. I didn't watch the video, but that's what I gathered from the comments and the descriptions of the video. So I think
Megan Bay?
I don't know. She's gonna be a feud.
She coming in?
Yeah, it feels like that's where they're going with that. I think with Stoke, right? If the Stokely thing has to be going for him going to a heel, I think. But That'll be interesting. Willow has been beating people that Chris has not been able to. Right, that's been like a little
Yes.
theme as of late.
Right.
So certainly something to look for. I'll say this: if this somehow ends up with Chris Statlander versus Mercedes Monè, I think we will.
Oh my
I'll
god.
take it. I will take it.
Yeah, ideally that's coming up here. I think the Deeb match is definitely coming soon too. Serena's been like that's where her character's clearly been trending. All right. Ayo, did you get a chance to see that?
I sent you the video.
Yeah, did you get a chance to see it yet?
Let me look at that right now.
Okay, while you do that,
I sent it to your main account, Dunes.
For once, I have some plugs, folks. Tomorrow night, it's the big one. LNG 100, immediately following Rampage. Yes, that is very late. It's called the Late Night Grim. What do you want from me? We have video messages from members of the community, old friends. Chuck may even be in attendance via that route. There's a special surprise to announce something very, very important for only the people that give a fuck about the Late Night Grim, but still, it's a major announcement. It's going to be a cool moment, I think. So, LNG 100 tomorrow night. It's going to be on the Late Night Grin YouTube or twitch.tv/Late Night Grin. We think it's going to be a hell of a time. There's been a lot of prep gone into it, which doesn't mean it'll be good, but it does mean there's been a lot of prep that's gone into it. So, there is that. Chuck, do you have anything to plug or promote before we get out of here?
I actually don't, for once. I don't have anything to promote.
Good for you.
Watch the Late Night Grin. Girls on Graps might be back this Sunday. I'm pretty sure it will be. I have nothing on, so I think we're going to be back. Just watch the podcast. I'll be doing more writing soon. Check out my Ko-Fi link if you're feeling generous. That's pinned on my Twitter.
Absolutely. I like it. Okay. Folks, if you enjoyed this, the thumbs up, the subscribe, all of those good things. Ayo, have you
I watched the video.
Okay, go for it.
I watched the video. This man is like legitimately pissed.
Yes.
Like he is fucking upset, bro. And
Veins
he tried to
in his
smile
head,
through
dude.
it. He tried to smile through it, and his fucking beads of sweat at his fucking forehead and mad veins popping out. When did Dwayne Johnson stop being a human? Like, what year did this happen?
I think it's like, I don't think it's actually been that long. It feels like there was a violent shift during COVID to me personally.
Because I feel like even when he wasn't doing the best content when he came back during the Cena feud and stuff, but I feel like he was still like a person. He still felt like a human. He wasn't a machine.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
It's pretty funny, I guess. I mean, probably not the healthiest thing, but it's pretty funny. So there's that, I guess. But yep, there it is, folks. The official review of Dwayne The Rock Johnson doing rock, paper, scissors. So
I watched it like 4 times, bro.
It's incredible. Because there's details that emerge with each time you watch it, right? It's very, very good. All right. Ayo, feel free to plug anything that you have to push or promote, and then take us home, mate. Go for it.
We'll probably have a WrestlePurists podcast this Sunday. I don't think I'm doing anything. So watch our socials for that. Appreciate y'all support today. Don't really have anything else to plug. We are out of here.